Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, da doo-dah day.
Hey everybody, Joe Dog here. Welcome to Stupid O'Clock. I've got to clean up my office a little bit. I've been rearranging stuff and didn't quite get done before showtime. So, well, I'm here. Joe Bachman's here. John's here, and Dan is here, but he's indisposed at the moment. And there's Nick Tockert.
Hi, Nick.
Of course. There's Donna calling Carl a weenie because he's going to bed.
Oh, he's got to get up early and
Hit the
do his Krogren.
Yes, tomorrow is
Myers Day.
Myers, I do believe. Yes, tomorrow is shopping day. Let's just be generic about it.
Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day.
Didn't say what he was going to be shopping for.
Anyway, I just started crock pot about an hour ago with corned beef and cabbage and taters and carrots. Went down, turned it off, and apparently I've got so much stuff in it hasn't even heated up the lid yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave it on high for another hour.
Yes, Lindsay made a chicken cacciatore tonight, so I am well fed. And apparently the church is going to give us hamburgers and fries tomorrow when she's coming back from her church. I was going to cook a quick and easy gumbo. It's not going to be real gumbo. I mean, Lewis would really rake me over the coals for what I'm about to do. But
I got to sort of cover this up. But I got something today.
Medicare?
Yep.
Nice.
How long ago did you fill in the forms?
I did. For some reason, last year they decided I should have Medicare because of my disability.
Oh, okay. Those
And-
forms got filled in.
And I didn't know about it. And I started getting $1,500, $2,000 doctor bills. Yeah, because Blue Cross says, you got Medicare. Why the hell should we pay that?
I went online and filled out all the forms, and I never heard anything else from them. So either I didn't fill out the forms correctly, or they're waiting to about the same time as I can actually tap into my Social Security. But I am fully retired now, so
Yeah.
insurance is going to be a problem till I get the Medicare started.
Oh, crap. I was going to look up something real quick and I couldn't. I forgot what I was going to go look at. Getting old sucks.
Tell me about. A Vietnamese pot-bellied pig usually lives to be about 8 years old. Ours is 10. Pork chop's 10 years old, and he's getting that point where he's having trouble getting them on his feet, and just having trouble. So I have to go out every morning and like push him up on his feet so he can get out of his house and come and eat and such. And me and him have this little conversation every time I go out there about, I'll go out and put the food in his bowl, then go put the scoops up, then come out and I can hear him in there just caterwauling because he wants to get up and get out and eat. I said, I'm coming. I'm old too, It's getting old sucks. And he's like in there.
Yeah, now, are you going to break out the tractor when he crosses over, or y'all going to have food for a week?
We'll probably have to dig a really big hole somewhere.
Yeah, that's the trouble with having livestock that become pets rather than staying detached so that they can fill the larder. I'm sure that there are people that are going to be offended by that, but
I had somebody tell me you can't eat those pigs, the Vietnamese potbelly pigs. You can't eat them because they're too greasy. And I'm like, isn't that the definition of pork? I mean, it's
Yeah.
isn't that how they make lard?
Guys, I got some breaking news on my phone here.
Uh-oh.
TSA is going to start allowing screwdrivers and drills will be permitted on Boeing flights to help passengers help with maintenance.
okay.
Hey, back before when you could take that stuff onto the airplane, they didn't have problems like this. Okay.
You really, if you get in your seat and you notice there was a loose Phillips head screw in there, you pull out your pocket knife, open up the appropriate blade, and tighten it down.
We came back
That's
from
just neighborly.
We came back from Iraq on a plane, and it was a old Pan Am 747. And when I say old, they had painted over the livery.
Hey, Rob.
You could still see the outline of all the lettering and the logo on the plane. They just painted it white. So we were on a big white airplane.
They didn't even totally strip it.
Got on board. I went to sit down, looked up, and look at the luggage racks that we had. Our luggage rack was being held to the fuselage with baling wire.
Is that when you found Jesus?
Yeah, he was on the other side of the airplane, actually. But
he's on the seat on the other side of the aisle, yeah. And he looked nervous.
We've been shot at for 12 months. We didn't care if the plane crashed or not. It's just,
Oh. Yeah. And John having a backpack with 55 pounds of serious putty.
No, actually, strangely enough, they didn't even let us bring the weapons back with us. We took the weapons over. But when we came back, they took up all our, I guess they gave them to the Iraqis. They took all our weapons up, put them in a weapons locker, and we didn't have to. We hosed them down with solvent and handed them in. Didn't even really clean them. My guess is they took it to a third shop that did a thorough tear down. and gave them to the Iraqis. So,
Along with the Hummers and the.
well, they could have those Hummers. We beat the hell out of them.
Yeah, vehicles don't have a sizable service life.
In sand.
Strangely enough, they have still got Humvees running around from 1985.
Well, one thing you can say, the Army will change the oil in their equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it needs it or not.
Yes. They give you a little... They used to make us test the oil every 3 months, quarterly test. So you had to get the vampire pump and the hoses and the sample bottles, which is kind of weird because it's the same sample bottle they use for the urinalysis.
Recycle.
Yeah, probably. But you'd have to go in, and there on most of the vehicles there's an oil drain. You don't actually have to use the vampire pump for most of them. There's a little on-off thing. Unfortunately, every time you use the on-off thing, usually started leaking. So.
Oh, we have a bot.
Do we?
Yes.
Oh, a constant PRC. Why do you want to do that? You know, you found the greatest channel on Twitch, and you're spamming it.
Really?
I think the last 3 letters of the name is clue enough.
People's Republic of China. Yeah. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chat box, etc.
Price is lower than any. You got to realize we're on a shoestring budget. We take up a collection just to keep the bills paid around here to stay on.
That guy right there still owes me 5 years worth of beer. So,
well,
as much beer as I drink.
Paid? Oh.
Hey,
dear bot, when you included the words "the price is lower than any competitor," the fact that there is a price tag means the owner of the show is not interested.
Yeah.
If you can't give him something for free,
exactly.
His pocket's been tied together in knots before they soaked him in salt water.
Oh,
also, if you're going to tell us to go somewhere, make sure you leave enough, space in the text to actually put in the full link.
Yeah, really. That's kind of funny too. Okay, first of all, if you can't even spam us competently, I'm not about to go to your product page.
And we have been spammed competently before.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you've got Russian boobies, okay, you didn't bring your A game.
Hey, I can't believe that you actually decided you were going to exclude all the other boobies in the universe.
Well, there's Ukrainian boobies too.
Hey,
that's the ones I get all the time.
I know. Little green women from outer space. That's the ones I get. Hey, cute, but expensive in telephone charges.
Okay.
And now, is one of us going to kick him out or them out? Or
why? They aren't doing nothing. Nobody can see it.
I know, but I'm trying to get him off my channel.
I don't think he can. I think he's a advertiser with Facebook or StreamYards.
No, it's Twitter. It's
Twitch.
What is it? Twitch. Yeah. Not you, Twitch face or Twit face or whatever it is that they're calling whatever. Yeah. Everything becomes one big corporation.
I'm going to show Constant PRC how you advertise. This is what I'm having for dinner tomorrow. It's in the crock pot right now.
Oh, well. No, I can't even find the. Oh, go back to chat. Okay.
That would help.
Chat reply. I don't know how to block him.
You can't. I'm trying to tell you that.
Where's Kerry when we need him?
You know, there are no three dots. There's just a star,
Yeah.
and that's it.
That's what I tried to tell you. It's some sort of advertising. So.
Yeah.
No, you can only block YouTube and I think maybe Facebook.
From StreamYard.
Yeah, from StreamYard.
So you'll have to go to Twitch and go to the stream there and block them from there, I'm guessing.
That's where I'm at now. I just can't find out how to do it. Mod view. Oh, okay. Welcome to mod view. Ah, now I got the three little dots.
There you go. Drop kicking Jesus through the goalposts of life.
Banhammer.
Oh.
Well, shit.
Hey, wait a minute, Joe. See if
Yeah.
you can find his site and see if you can advertise for Stupid O'Clock on his site. Turnabout being fair play. I always hate it when people apologize for bothering you. Then don't do it. You know. Hello, sorry for bothering you. No, you're not.
Really? Otherwise, you wouldn't have spoke up.
Yeah, you know, if you'd kept your mouth shut, we'd have been fine.
Now we've lost half the show. Me trying to figure out how to block your sorry ass.
Let's charge him for it.
Send him a bill.
$12 for the first minute, $6 for each additional minute. He came on 11:11. He's been on there for 8 minutes.
And when you're done with that, Joe Dog, you might want to check your print again, just in case. I can't see it anymore, but...
Oh.
No, we just...
Scared me to death.
Well, I don't know where you have that actually live streaming at, so...
It's on my other...
It's on...
You'd have to bring up another StreamYard.
Yeah.
It's on another StreamYard.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were actually live with it or not somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On YouTube. It's running on YouTube. All right, let me go look.
He's 3D printing YouTube?
That's going to take a
Joe.
whole lot of filament.
Joe, there's an idea. Make
What?
your own YouTube awards. Print your own YouTube trophy, put it in the background.
Joe, I've glued it down so good that it's breaking loose from the mat that it printed.
That's not good.
Okay, this is a wild guess because I don't know anything about the equipment. Is it possible that the print plate is not getting hot enough?
I've got it running at 100 degrees Celsius.
That's boiling.
That's, 212 Fahrenheit, yeah. Which explains the Band-Aids on your fingers.
Okay. In the news, the Indian Navy boarded a hijacked cargo ship that had been hijacked by Somali pirates and captured all the pirates and successfully freed all the crew members. Apparently, there were no casualties. So, India appears to have an extremely competent military. Not that I doubted it. It's just that they didn't have a lot of proof that you see in the news. So
Yeah. What part of Gurkhas did you not understand? I mean, even you guys respected them.
pretty much.
All right. Good grief. Move around too much. Oh.
We were training with some Gurkhas once back when I was in the mortar platoons, and they were doing call for fire. And the reason they were practicing is no one could understand what the hell they were saying on the radio because their accent was so damn thick. And so they were practicing their enunciation of the call for fire. And it's a format you got to use.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guy called for fire, and I can't remember what it was these people that the Gurkhas really did not like. It was their arch enemy, so to speak. And when he was calling for fire, he said there were 50 of them in the open. I said, okay. And I said, says, they forgot to call and tell us which type of ammo they wanted. Okay. So we called him back and we said, do you want HE or white phosphorus? And he goes, we'd like the white phosphorus.
I thought he was going to say yes.
Yes. But they bought me a beer on that one.
Evidently, you hit the 50 in the target.
My mortar platoon, we got called for fire on so much weird stuff when we were out at the shooting range.
Well, nothing beats practice.
We had one guy shot down a helicopter
With a mortar.
with a mortar.
Okay. I would like to buy him a beer.
And the bad part is, okay, we were wild flicking, and they were bringing in this little helicopter drone, and it was an old beat up helicopter. They painted it orange and flew it out there. We were sitting here firing our mortars. We were at mortar point 13. Right next to us, mortar point 12 is this big, long shooting range. It's not just a mortar point. They fire artillery, 50 caliber machine guns, light machine guns. And in this case, they were retiring the 20 millimeter Vulcan tracks, the air defense artillery tracks, with the big Gatling gun on top.
Uh-huh.
And this was going to be their last hurrah before they retired. So they got all these Vulcan tracks lined up on the shooting range. And their last hurrah, they're going to fly this drone out across Wild Flicking and let the ADA guys shoot at it. And whoever's their top gunner gets to shoot at the helicopter. So they're lined up, and we've got about 5 minutes before we have to cease fire and clear the range so that they can take over and do their thing. And I'm on 3 gun. We've already fired our ammo. So we've expended all rounds. 1 gun has already expended the rounds. 2 gun, it's the base gun, they get more ammo because they're the ones that are doing the spotting. And then once they get on target, 1 and 3 join in. So 2 gun has almost twice as much ammo as 1 and 3. So they're getting rid of their last few rounds. Our top gunner, who is the base gunner, a guy named Kevin McNulty. He's the platoon clown, or not clown, platoon comedian.
Okay.
He's the one that just makes everybody laugh, no matter how bad the situation is. So he's over there. He's sitting here and we're aiming at his targets and stuff like that. And that FO's calling in, target this, target that. And FO quit. Just, we got to clear out. Okay. So we're doing our own missions at this point. Just direct lay and direct alignment. Here comes a helicopter. And it pauses right outside. Whoever's flying it or remotely flying it paused it right outside the firing lane. And it's just sitting there hovering. But the wind's blowing from behind it. And it's blowing right down the ridge line. And it's slowly drifting into our fire lane. And we're sitting here watching it. And everybody's talking about it on the telephones. You know, hey, the helicopter's going to go into our. It's already in the splinter. It's already in the splinter zone. It's going to drift right into our fire lane. And sure enough, it crossed that little marker, the range limit, crossed right over it, kept going. McNulty goes, "Watch this." Now here's what's funny. The range marker that it flew over was a known point. We know the range to that range marker. And then it flew right past another target, which is just inside the range marker. And that one always kind of gave us trouble because if you're way down on mortar point 11 and you fire at it, it's really easy to go into the splinter zone. And you can get flagged off the range for that. But when you're on mortar point 13, it's not so much a problem because you got a clearer shot at it. And it's closer. Sure enough, when the guy flying it realized he drifted into the lane, he stopped it. And it's just sitting there hovering. He got the round ready. Boom! 28-second time of flight.
And the other group with the last hurrah had to get a new helicopter.
Oh. Now here's what's funny. Armed Forces Network Television has their news crew out there filming. Okay. But they're not watching the helicopter. They're filming all the bigwigs talking about how this unit's being retired. So they got their cameras pointed in exactly the wrong direction. I'm not sure, but they got this hub that comes up to the rotor hub, or that's a axle, and that's what connects everything to the motor, and that's what spins and everything, and that's where your rotor blades come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's from right there on that hub. I'm not sure, but it looked like he nailed that hub because there was a bright orange white flash, lots of smoke, and a crumpled helicopter. And unlike Hollywood, it didn't actually burst into flames until it hit the ground. So, everybody with rank came over. Range control came over. And they wanted to chew. That was not an authorized target. It was a target drone. What do you mean it wasn't an authorized target? That's exactly what it was.
It was right there in front of me.
I would have come back with, oops.
No. I can't. Oh, what did he say? It was like, one round mortar light or just something, just standard. But he yelled it out to everybody with the touchdown thing. One round fire for effect.
I assume that round had an effect, considering the helicopter stopped existing after that.
Now, here's the bad part. They came out and they started chewing us out. And we still got 15 rounds left. Okay. Our range time expired. We had to pack all them damn rounds back up and take them back to the ASP. And then the ASP wanted to inspect them. And they were giving us hell for shooting down somebody's up because all these guys were going to get together, go down, clean this damn helicopter up out of the impact area. And they don't like going into the impact area where the mortar shells are because there's mortar shells all over the damn place. And the general came over and who shot down my helicopter? That would be Specialist Kevin McNulty. And he got it with one mortar round. And that colonel was like, wow. Wow. We got in trouble. We did a fire mission on a herd of Gurney pigs.
On a what?
Wild pigs.
Oh,
And they remembered that shit. They would come up there sometimes. They would come up there sometimes, try to get in the back of the mortar carriers because they knew there was food.
oh, I thought you said they remembered, and every time y'all showed up, they attacked.
Pretty much.
Pigs, not orcs.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Okay.
It's been so long since I've seen that. Oh, Lord. I'm surprised I still remember.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to back out. I'm starting to fade real quick for some reason, so I will see you all next time.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you very much for the work. Lindsay really appreciates it.
Not a problem.
I appreciate you being here, Joe.
Josh and his weather network sign that you did for him. I saw that today. So, nice work.
Thank you. Yeah, there's still one more in transit over to Bladed and Foxy, and which is weird because I kind of figured I'm central to, should be about the same distance to Georgia as it is to Alabama as it is to Utah from Northwest Indiana, I would think.
Depends on where the shipping points are. Now, let's see. He lives near Birmingham, I think. And
well,
I'm pretty sure Birmingham will have a big shipping center or something.
Well, all three packages went from Northwest Indiana to the Elk Grove, Illinois distribution center.
Thank you, Nick.
For some reason, Bladed's package sat there for like an extra 2 days, which they could have been waiting for more to be going towards the next shipping zone, but just figured it was odd that one package, which I think was the smallest box out of all of them.
Lindsay said she was watching the tracking every day, and it went to Palmetto, Georgia, which neither one of us knew where was.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went from there to someplace else, and then it went back. And I'm going, oh, this is like when J-Dog ordered something, and the truck went right past his house and all the way out to Arkansas or something, and then came back.
That's why Amazon has cut back on using FedEx, because everything FedEx ships goes through Memphis. They take everything to Memphis, and then Memphis figures out where to send it.
You know, a long time ago, they used to have these things called mail trains. And it was basically a post office on rails. And it was several cars. And they'd get all this mail, and they'd put it in this car from wherever the mail was coming from. And they'd hook it together with this one central office car. And then all these guys in this central office car go through all these other cars, grab the mail bags, and then sort it inside the post office, inside that one central car. And then once they would get it sorted, they'd take it back to the car that was supposed to go to whatever city it came from. And then eventually, once they did their job, and usually while it was moving between two large cities, by the time they got to where they were going, the mail was ready. So, and then apparently they went with centralized post offices, and nobody's gotten a letter since then.
Well,
right.
Chattanooga had one of the first remote post services. People would sit at their desk at a computer screen and just punch buttons as the mail would go by on the monitor. But the mail could be in Wisconsin or New York, or they would sort the mail in Chattanooga in another city in another state. Have you ever noticed the little barcode at the bottom of all your mail?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what they would do. And then that barcode would
Route it.
route it.
You can thank Jimmy Carter for that.
All right. Well, gentlemen, have a great evening, and I will see you all next time.
All right. Good night, Joe.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, crap. It's just the three of us. What debauchery will we get into now?
Where's Zach?
I don't know.
I think Zach is unconscious and still recovering from.
He's in a rocket coma.
But man, that was so cool.
Hey, let's get Donna. You get in here. Do we have to send Donna a link, or do Nick? You need to get in here.
Nick's on the road.
Oh,
Yeah, Nick's driving.
oh,
Is Nick driving or Amanda?
Nick is in transit. Let's put it that way. I don't know who's actually operating the vehicle.
all right. I'm looking at the Al Jazeera website or news story here. Indian naval forces, including special commandos, seized a cargo vessel that was hijacked by Somali pirates and rescued 17 crew members. They captured all 35 pirates on board. It's a Maltese flagged bulk cargo vessel. And then they searched the ship for illegal arms, ammunition, and contraband. That's something I never thought about, them moving crap for the Iranians with the captured vessels. That sounds like something a pirate would do.
Really?
She,
Well, I think those pirates need to be handled the way there's
strap a cannon to their boots and throw that overboard.
No.
Hey, Donna.
When
Hey, guys.
you Captain Phillips, was it the Alabama? Maersk, Alabama?
Oh, the one from Captain Phillips?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, they timed it just perfect where everybody had their head up and they all fired, the snipers all fired on rough seas. 100% kill.
Yeah. The Maersk, Alabama. What's the name of the ship?
Hey, Chris. Well,
After that movie came out, they had trouble hiring pirates. So
I wonder why. Bet they didn't have good insurance either.
Nick's saying hi, Donna.
Hey, Nick. I'm being Don tonight.
John, did you ever hear the story about the ones that the Somali pirates that tried to take over a British
Norwegian. It was a Norwegian military vessel, but the vessel they sent down didn't look like a military vessel, really, because it wasn't bristling with guns and missiles and stuff like that. They thought it was some sort of just
Cruise ship.
Yeah, something, and went and tried to board it, and
Didn't end well for them.
oh no, the
Oopsie.
Norwegian Marines were most hospitable.
Let's
I
just
believe
say
it
the
involved
sharks
handcuff-
ate well that day.
Yeah, I believe it involved handcuffs and duct tape. So.
That would have been so funny. Climb up Take me to your captain. You sure you want to do this?
It'd be like that scene from RoboCop 2 where the guy walks into the diner, whips out the shotgun, and "This is stick up," and all the tables suddenly turn around. The entire place, it's like a Waffle House. The entire place is filled with cops. They all turn around, pull out guns with laser pointers. This guy's got red. It looks like a Christmas tree. He's got so many red laser dots on him. And the guy behind the register that he was trying to rob looks at him and goes, "So, what's it like being a rocket scientist?"
You got that right, Nick.
That would be an encounter that someone would have to be
Norwegian
allowed
cruise
to
line.
survive
Yeah.
to tell the tale.
We thought it was Norwegian Cruise Lines.
We always leave one survivor just for that reason.
Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell your friends' enemies. Tell your enemies' friends. Oh.
Oh, have y'all seen that video on Facebook now? The politically corrected, edited version of Blazing Saddles?
Yeah, it's
Who would
opening
want to?
credits and then closing credits. Yeah. The rest of the movie is gone.
I don't think you can show the closing credits. Not with sound, anyway.
I was going to say,
You know, I was really upset they didn't include at least the campfire scene.
That was one of the funnier parts of the movie.
I'll take movies that can no longer be remade, Alex, for 1,000.
Oh, today is an anniversary for me. Well, actually, two anniversaries.
I know one of them.
Does this
One
involve
is-
flatulence in an elevator?
One is anniversary of the Great
The elevator story.
in Memphis, and the other, sadly, 16 years ago today, I lost my mom.
Oh.
Uh,
If she's anything like my mom, check the fabric store.
oh,
My mom came by today. I just out of the blue wanted to come by and go through our canned goods.
oh, came back to go grocery shopping.
Sorta. It's like,
This is out of date. You need to replace it.
I'll take care of it for you.
no, but it's like she saw my can. I got peppers and squash and pickles and the jalapenos and all sorts of stuff in canning jars. It's like, woo, because the red, green, and yellow peppers look good inside them canning jars. It's ornamental canning.
Oh, when you said peppers, Madonna has got a job now,
Yes,
working at Shack's Chicken Shack.
really.
She is
Okay.
making their famous jalapeno coleslaw.
And she can have
Jalapeno coleslaw?
Yeah,
jalapeno coleslaw, which actually sounds pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
she knows the recipe.
You know, it's funny. I haven't done it yet, but Golden Corral actually has the recipe for their seafood salad on the wall. It's on a big 3x5 thing.
Next time I go, I'll have to take a picture.
That's what I did. I've got
Yes.
it over on my phone. Did I not post it to Stupid O'Clock?
Might have. Don't know.
Would have been last
I don't
summer.
remember. We went recently over to my brother-in-law's, so he made chili for us. And instead of putting his spices in the regular spice cabinet, he put it in the plate where you usually put plates. He has got so many spices that he has filled this 1 foot by 1 foot area. And I'm like, y'all know, I don't cook. I know chili. I know Chris Davis's
Oh,
grub rub. I know salt and pepper, and I know Worcestershire sauce.
yeah. You don't want to see my spice cabinet.
And I'm looking in here going, haven't even heard of some of these things.
Oh, it's kind of funny. You'll go to cook a recipe and it'll call for some oddball spice you've never heard of before. And then you go out and the oddball spices are the expensive ones,
Mm-hmm.
and B, they never package this stuff small enough for like one meal, like for one recipe. They don't make 1 ounce
Mm-hmm.
bottles or something like that. It's always the standard like 3 ounce bottle. And there's no way in hell you're ever going to use 3 ounces of this stuff in your entire lifetime. I just bought cardamom,
Yeah.
Mm.
Familiar.
which is an awesome smelling spice, but
It's very strong.
I only needed half a teaspoon, and I, what do I do with the,
Mm-hmm.
what was the other one I bought? Marjoram. Marjoram.
Yeah.
Now the
Saffron.
other one, trying to
Saffron
remember
is very expensive.
Oh yeah, that stuff's like gold.
Star
It's more
anise.
expensive than gold.
That's another.
Yeah, but start. If you don't like licorice flavor, you're not gonna like anything that anise is in.
Yeah.
Well, like Italian sausage and gumbo will have.
You'd be surprised, Dan, when you put some stuff in. I'm looking at all the spices he has lined up for his chili, and I'm like, that's a pie spice, that's a cake spice, and he's putting it in chili, nutmeg, and cinnamon.
Ginger.
Yeah, well, I understand the ginger because I understand you can use that with pork and beef products.
Allspice is another one.
Yeah, that's a fruit canning spice.
Yeah, Carl and I are looking at this and looking at each other like, okay, well,
There's so many different variations of chili.
but it was good.
Yeah.
It was very good. It's very surprising, but very good.
And a lot of those sweet spices tone down the peppers and such, so you wind up with a nice bouquet flavor.
Yes, but you can still taste the essence of the hot peppers without the excess heat.
Yes.
Oh, he didn't have hot peppers.
Oh, you sound so disappointed.
And this guy was a cop, but he's a weenie. He doesn't like hot foods.
So what? Instead of using chili beans, he used jelly beans? What? I mean,
He used chili beans because Carl told him be sure to use chili beans because his mom always used kidney beans. But
we use
that's a personal taste thing.
we use a can of light red kidneys, dark red kidneys, chili beans, and pinto beans. One can of each.
see, I make actual chili. I don't put beans in it. I did, however, make an interesting discovery. You know how when you've got everything together and it's cooking, and you go, "Oh, I forgot to buy something." I usually put Rotel diced tomatoes in with the little chilies in it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thought I had a can in the pantry. Nope. I'm looking around going, okay, what? Pico de Gallo.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Potatoes,
definitely.
peppers,
It's basically the same
onions.
thing, just fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not stewed.
So
Yeah.
I tossed that in there, and Carl's like, "Do this all the time now." And I was okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's I keep
I can't do that because Lindsay eats the pico de gallo before I can even open the thing and put it in with the chili. She loves
he
that
reaches
stuff.
he reaches in the shopping bag and pulls out an empty container. Like
Really, price tag still attached. Um,
Plus,
somehow,
I can keep my fresh diced onions for after putting it on the chili direct because I like doing that.
I like that too. But
oh,
I like some.
Thesis was talking about things that you could do with some of the barbecue sauces that you can get at different restaurants, and that reminded me that I made up an Asian barbecue sauce from scratch, just with what I had in a poor bachelor college student's kitchen, and it turned out to be outstanding and tasting very Asian and was not entirely too hot, was not entirely too mild. And, hey, it turned out to be a great barbecue sauce. I wish I could recreate that spontaneous recipe.
You know what
Uh,
my best recipe is? Reservations.
that works.
Well, where
Donner
Don
party, table of 45.
where Donna's working, they damn near need reservations. They've been open 3 weeks and there's still almost an hour wait
Wow.
for fast food.
Don't seem that fast to me.
I mean, it's she says it's elbows and assholes from 10 o'clock to they finally say go home. Uh, do you remember, John? Do you remember the McDonald's chicken nugget barbecue sauce, the old
Yeah.
original?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was that last bit?
The chicken nugget
The
barbecue.
old one.
The old one. Yeah.
Shaq's barbecue sauce tastes just like that.
Hmm. I wish I could find something that was trying to be the old McDonald's hot mustard chicken nugget sauce. Because I used to alternate between that and the barbecue with my nuggets. And that was an amazing combination of flavors because you got the full flavor of one and then the full flavor of the other. That wasn't like mixing it together. Um,
John,
but they stopped. They went to a honey mustard.
yeah.
They,
John,
that's not the real deal.
were you at McDonald's the night that me and Scott Mitchell ate the menu?
Not that I'm aware of.
What kind of sauce did you use on that menu?
It's probably better than the food.
Well,
No, we ate everything on the menu. I had a McDonald's cheeseburger, McDonald's hamburger, a Big Mac, a quarter pounder, a 10-piece nugget, a fish sandwich, and the chicken sandwich.
Strangely enough, one of my favorite meals to get at McDonald's is just 2 regular hamburgers.
Do
and
what?
fries. That's just always
two
been my-
regular hamburgers.
2 regular hamburgers and fries.
You know, when I was a kid and we would roll through Knoxville on the way from, no, it wasn't Knoxville. We'd roll through Clinton on the way from where we were living outside of Clinton to Jacksboro and La Follette to visit my grandparents. Mom and Dad would pull into McDonald's, and it's like this was the early 60s. So, just regular hamburgers, just regular cheeseburgers, nothing fancy,
Mhm.
nothing out of this world. And for like less than $10, you feed a family of four.
Mhm.
And that included milkshakes. And we just loved it. We just absolutely loved it. Um, there are some things that stick with you. And then when you find that you've ordered something nostalgic from a menu of a restaurant that you used to go to as a child, and it still tastes exactly the same, you just feel grateful that that memory has not been sullied.
Mhm.
Oh, Dan, how'd you like the Ray Stevens song I sent you today? I heard that and I said, "That's Dan."
Mm, I
Teenage
feel
Mutant Kung Fu Chickens.
I feel so called out. Uh, do you know how many chicken dinners I had on Sunday where the chickens were still alive and running around the yard of the neighbor's place next door the day before? Oh, yeah. Well,
That's usually the chicken dinners that the preacher shows up at.
Yeah.
we didn't leave none for the preacher. You talking about a extended family with at least three houses in the neighborhood, plus inviting the neighbors that provided the chicken.
Yep.
They the preacher would have had to been there to actually help with the harvesting and plucking of the chickens in order to get his share. And they usually had their own chickens.
But you've heard the story about the preacher always showing up for chicken dinner.
Yeah, that's that's pretty standard, but
That's a running gag in the Snuffy Smith
mm,
comic strip.
Yeah.
it's really weird, but there was a time in my life where I could read Snuffy Smith and Lil Abner, and I could pick out relatives I would see at family reunions. Oh, there, one- my dad's uncle, the one that was a sniper in World War I. Only person I've ever seen do this, but he would make a pot of coffee on a stove. Didn't matter if it was coal burning, wood burning, or electric. Pour the coffee in the cup on a saucer. Fill the saucer from the cup. Let it cool and sip the coffee from the saucer. No cream, no sugar, just black coffee.
My dad still does that.
I have only ever seen my great uncle do that in my entire life. None of my other relatives did. And I went, this is old school right here. I wonder if I wrote about that in Tractor of Introspection. If I hadn't, I need to include it. That's another charming story.
And he
Um,
picked the saucer up like this. And
yeah,
Mhm.
me, I grab it by the mug.
If y'all excuse me for a moment, I gotta go check a crock pot.
Alrighty.
yeah, that hour is just about up. You better make sure that it doesn't need to be turned down. The meal that he was cooking, he had left it going in the crock pot for a while, but he had so much food in the crock pot it hadn't heated all the way through yet. It was still cold, so he left it going for an extra hour.
Oh,
And Nicholas, you do know you've got to be careful with nutmeg.
You gotta be careful with cinnamon.
Well, yeah, but I, research has proven that nutmeg is, there's a reason that there's not very much of it in any one particular meal. Um, it is actually a hallucinogen in large doses, and it can make you violently ill
Hmm.
at that level.
well, an eggnog has the same effect as a good cup of coffee in the morning.
Cinnamon happens to be very good for you if you're diabetic.
This is true.
When I make chili, I just put just a pinch in the chili and mix it up. That way, as you're eating, all of a sudden it hits that fires off on that one taste bud, and you're like, "What was that?" It's gone before you can register what it was.
Yeah, but it ain't wore off yet. You can still taste everything better than you did before.
Yeah.
Um, n- One of the things that I have been doing in my chili, because I had read that it was a component of chuckwagon chili from back in the Wild West. If you make coffee in a coffee pot, a percolator, and you still got a little bit left,
Or that.
pour it in the chili. What I do is I'll take like one spoonful of instant coffee and put it in a big crock pot full of chili. That way it's not overpowering. You don't even know it's there, but it does give it a little bit of more of a, I would hesitate to call it authentic Western flavor because it is instant coffee, but it does change the taste just enough for you to notice, but not enough for you to
Know
really
what
be
it
able
is.
to figure out what it is.
Yeah. I was just about to say a cup of coffee in the chili.
Mm-hmm. Um,
Mm.
and I have to make sure with the way that I just go, oh, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. Ooh, that's a little bit too thin. Hand me that tomato paste. I'll fix that. Uh, just thicken it up real quick. I'm
Oh,
not
I'll
putting.
tell you another use for coffee, Dan. Through the percolator pot, you make a pot of coffee, throw the grounds away, put some fresh grounds in it, pour the coffee back in, run it through again 3 times. Makes the most beautiful wood stain you've ever seen.
You can also you can
Sorry,
also use
that
it.
has stained my liver a whole lot more than it will the wood.
You can
Uh,
also use it to stain camouflage cloth for ghillie suits.
it was used in World War I to restain uniforms that had been washed excessively, and the original tan uniform color had bled out a little bit, um, gotten too light. So yeah, you can use tea and coffee as a dye for cloth. I don't want to wash your tub after you get through doing it, but you can do it.
Have you seen the movie 1917?
I haven't the faintest idea. Maybe, but I don't remember it.
It's a World War I movie. Uh, Sort of based on a true story. This guy had to carry a note to the forward lieutenant or colonel or whoever was on the front lines that it was a trap. Don't attack. and the movie is a continuous shot.
That's very hard to pull off.
Uh, there were cuts in it, but
There was one scene they were filming he was running along the front of this trench line, and the soldiers were coming up out of the trench line and attacking the Germans. And they were filming it with one of those Foley cameras that had the removable track. And as he's running toward the camera, and the camera's keeping pace with him, so the
they never
camera
did.
along with him. Basically, somebody ran into him because they weren't watching where they were going. Ran into him, knocked them both down. They both got up, just kept going, and it wasn't in the script. It just
looked good, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It-
It's
it-
amazing.
it's a movie really worth watching because by the time you get to the end, you're so invested in it that you're just like, wow, what did I just sit through? I mean, almost Saving Private Ryan effective.
I'll have to look out for that just in case. Probably will watch it and find out that I have seen it before, just don't remember. I've seen a lot of movies.
Even the scenes where he climbs up out of a trench, the camera stays on him going up the ladder. I don't know how they did a lot of that, but it's some of the best.
Camera boom, yeah. I do know a little bit about the technology. I've seen lots of making of stuff from different programs and different movies that I've really enjoyed, and there are so many tricks that you can do. Absolutely, just fantastic things that if you don't know the technology behind making movies and the way it has gone from like the 1920s on up to now, there are tricks that you would not believe
Yeah.
anybody
Oh.
would do.
They were showing the making of, and it sort of spoiled it. If there was any scene where somebody crossed in front of him, that was a cut. And the cameras was the Lucas designed camera computer.
Oh, yeah, the computer operated so it could do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
With the same movements every time. You didn't have to depend on somebody remembering exactly when they had to turn the right knob.
What are you covering your head up, John?
Okay. During World War One, the villagers of Bourg, France, where General Patton ran a tank school. Now this is World War One, turn of the century. Yeah. They thought that a sealed pit with 2 crossed sticks was a U.S. soldier's grave. It was a latrine, and the sticks meant keep away. Okay. They have been mourning this, the whole village has been mourning this U.S. soldier's grave all these years. General Patton went back to the same village in World War II, and the French citizens in this village were still treating it as a war grave.
Did Patton have the nerve to tell them?
No, he didn't. He didn't correct them.
That reminds
I
me
will
of the
post. I will
that
post
reminds me of the punchline to an old joke about 2 guards standing by a bench on base.
Is that paint still
and-
wet? Yeah.
Is that paint ain't dried yet. Evidently, they were assigned to keep people from sitting on this bench that had just been painted, and every brand new base commander
Just carried over the orders.
had not got the memo that it was just for wet paint. So they kept assigning 2 guards over and over and over again for what was it, almost 20 years. It became a tradition.
Oh, goodness.
We're on bench duty. All right, don't sit down. Paint's still wet.
Oh, they had this, those wild goose chases that the military makes for young privates to go and figure out that they needed to think about what they were told before they went and did it.
Snipe hunting, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. One of the ones they had in Berlin is because we had a clock tower at McNair Barracks. We had clock winding detail. And every night at 2 a.m., a soldier had to get up, put on his dress uniform, Spandau on her ascot, had to put on the rubber gloves from his mop suit and his rubber boots to go up and wind the clock. It says, but you had to wear the rubber gloves and the boots because it was an electric clock. And we didn't want, and they did. There's a chance of electrocution.
Yeah. Which is heavier, a pound of feathers or a pound of lead? My dad tried to get me with that one once, and I'm going.
The one they got me with was go down to the commo shop and get a case of squelch. There you go. Which, in my defense, all the radio equipment had nicknames. Okay. Prick 77s, Angry 88s, Hambone mics, Dogbone mics, Aux units, just all the remote antennas, Vincent's, KY 57s.
Yeah, but that one was popular.
Well, it was a little bitty thing.
Not as popular as KY 69.
Well, we had a KY 56 and a KY 57.
Yeah.
We never messed with the 56s. That was Camo's job. Ours was the 57. And all it was this little, they would load the codes into it, and you would put the codes into your radio to get it ciphered. Ciphered.
I was assigned to work with maintenance one year during a rebuild, and the maintenance men, seeing that I was basically a teenager, would try and send me off on these wild goose chases for a chain stretcher. There was one time they sent me off to get a brass magnet from the storeroom because they had spilled an entire box of brass washers for something that they were putting together. And I'm going, I'm not as stupid as you think I am. So I just went on break for a couple of hours and came back, and the storeroom said they were out of brass magnets. You're just going to have to pick them up by hand.
I'm sorry. I got my nomenclatures wrong. The KY57 is the Vincent. It is the encryption device.
Have y'all seen the video of the guy laughing his ass off outside Bass Pro Shop? And his wife coming out, and she's like, she opens the door and she goes, "I hate you." Gets in, slams the door. He goes, "What's wrong?" "Shut up." "What's wrong? Did you get what I sent you in for?" She said, "There's no such thing as a damn brass magnet."
I told you about what was it? I can't remember which auto parts store it is that they have a sports drink called Blinker Fluid. People kept sending their kids in to get a bottle of blinker fluid. So somebody got the bright idea of making a sports drink like Monster or whatever, and
calling it blinker fluid.
they have red blinker fluid and orange blinker fluid. I think they have blue blinker fluid for police cars.
I'm sure. But that one costs more because it's official.
You have to have ID for that one.
Oh, we had one maintenance man. He basically for almost a year and a half, he walked around with a piece of aluminum conduit in his hand and a piece of paper that looked like the work order form. So he'd walk off back into the bowels of the plant with his piece of conduit. He told me, about once a week, I would take that conduit back and put a bend in it and a coupling, and then the next week I'd add another piece so it looks like I'm carrying, doing the same job or making that job a little bit more complicated. I'm going, dude, that's so genius, it's frightening. And you still got paid $20 an hour to walk around with a piece of conduit in your hand for a year and a half.
We were talking about the wild goose chases they send people on. They told this one, he was an older soldier, but he was new to our unit, and somebody decided to get him. They told him to go get a tent pole stretcher. So, no problem. Disappeared for a few minutes, went back to his room, got out of his uniform, got in civilian clothes, left for the rest of the day. And everybody's like, "Where'd he go?" And his squad leader and people didn't want to say where he went. Oh, he's on an errand. He was downtown. He was downtown in Berlin, seeing the sights and drinking beer.
He went to Sears for that tent pole stretcher.
My dad was telling me a story. He used to work. He was painter out at the TNT plant, which is now Volkswagen for Chattanooga. The foreman out there was a real jerk, and he just bought a brand new Volkswagen Beetle. This is when I was just being born. Talking about the great gas mileage it got. So every day when he'd show up at work, guy would go out and fill the car up. With a 5-gallon can. Top it off. This went on for about 3 months. Then they started siphoning the gas out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, where I get this from, Dan?
No, I don't wonder. I don't wonder at all. I do believe I met your dad at least once.
No.
No? Okay. I thought I had. Apple don't far too far from the damn tree.
When he was working at Raccoon Mountain, they had, one of the supervisors, such an asshole. And he worked the elevator shaft. You've heard the stories, the Raccoon Mountain elevator shaft.
Yeah.
1,500 and something feet tall inside the mountain.
Wow.
This guy would show up and he would stand under Daddy as he was painting. Daddy would dip his paintbrush in, lean it out over the thing, hitting him right on top of the hard hat. And the way he was holding his head up, when it hit the hard hat, it would run down the back.
And knowing hard hats, it'd run right up that little lip on the back and down his shirt.
Yeah. He was working third shift, and they wanted to get back on day shift. And the foreman said, "Guys, we've got 400 gallons of aluminum paint. We've been told when it's gone, we go to day shift." 3 days later, it was gone.
Not used, just gone.
Hmm.
There's
You know how-
stories that people are still finding that damn paint.
Do you know how much you've got to stir that stuff to keep the aluminum dust in it
Yeah.
actually sparkling?
Well, they would be on day shift painting and go, "We're out of aluminum paint." He turned to look at one of the other guys. "I'll be back." Guy comes back with 10 gallons, 2 5-gallon buckets. "Where'd that come from?" "Oh, I saw it laying around back over there."
Storeroom. The overflow over in the other building. Yeah. You'd be amazed at how many hours you can look for something in the part storage areas of the other building, which there was like one person stationed to work there, and everybody else that needed to goof off would be walking around in the shall we say the less well lighted areas of that particular building. Um, and the only reason I know that is I was at one time I was the guy that was officially designated to work in that building. So in between trucks delivering stuff, which is what the job was to unload the trucks that were delivering stuff, I had perfect opportunities to explore all of that building. There was stuff there I don't think the company even knows exists even anymore. Um, the next guy actually wound up with a little um, metal building that had been ordered to store materials in the main building, and it didn't work out quite the way management wanted. So he requisitioned it to be toted across the other building. So he had his own little metal building inside the other warehouse, and it was set up in there. Had himself a heater and chair and a desk that he scavenged from somewhere that nobody knew where it came from, but it was obviously one of the desks that belonged to the company. And it, I, I had a park bench that they had disappeared from a smoking area back when they still had the smoking areas. And this guy would just kind of wander off with stuff, and nobody knew where it went until he decided it was time to him to retire because he didn't get promoted into management the way he was planning on doing. So when he left, the next person that got that job went over there and go, "Where did all this shit come from?" he, he had it set up even better than the plant manager. Um, had one of my radios. I had over the course of 46 years, I had bought a lot of boom boxes, and just they get fiberglass dust in them. The tape decks wouldn't work anymore. The CD players wouldn't work anymore, but the radio part was still fine. And they were scattered all over both buildings. Um, there are people still using radios out there now that I bought with my name sharpied on them. You know? Hey, you're welcome. Um,
Yeah.
I'd walk around. One of them was playing rap music. Another one was playing country music. Another one was playing classic rock. Another one was. You get the idea. Everywhere I went, I could hear one of my radios, loud as could be. But like I said, you couldn't play cassettes in it anymore. You couldn't play CDs in them anymore.
And 20 years from now, they'll still be out there on the floor
Uh-huh.
with your name on it. And they're going, who's Dan Hollifield? Hell, I don't know. I ain't never heard of him.
I don't know. I did make an impression on a lot of my coworkers, especially the ones that were quite new when I retired. And they go, "Oh, you ought to have known this guy. You would like this guy." There's one guy that I had this habit of I'd be sitting there in the break room reading my paperback book or reading my Kindle, and there'd be conversations going all around me, and somebody would just ask an innocent question, and I could not stop my smart ass mouth.
You're doing this.
Yeah, I'm eating my breakfast or my lunch or my dinner, reading my book. They're sitting over there, and they're going, well, okay, perfect example. I had never understood how these people that started out here in the 70s are still working here after 40 something years, and without even pausing in between taking a bite of my scrambled eggs, I could drugs. The entire break room went nuts. It's just, there's that one guy swears up and down I was the funniest person, the biggest joker that ever actually worked there. And I'm going, you should have been here when I was new.
We can't say stuff that we said back then.
Oh, we can do stuff that we used to do back then. There were stories.
How many times have you leaned over and lit a cigarette off the fiberglass?
It wasn't that hot by the time I got to touch it.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you the number of times that an alternative tobacco was ignited. Set down on a fiberglass bat coming down to the next machine, pick it up, hit it, put it back down for the next crew in the next machine, over and over and over again. There was a time in the bucket lift, me and another guy using I think it was 120-pound air pressure hose to blow dust off of the inside of the ceiling where it had accumulated, and they let the bucket lift run out of gas. Supervisor had to go to the back end of the plant to this huge gasoline tank and get a couple of 5-gallon buckets and bring it back and refuel the bucket lift so that we could actually crank it back up and move around again. Another guy just goes, "Yep, well, we're stuck up here for quite a while. Let's just fire this mother up." We're like 80 feet in the air, up against the ceiling. Management walking underneath, looking at us. They go, "Hey, what's wrong?" "Out of gas. Supervisor went to get another can." And we didn't even have safety harnesses. we had to tie ourselves to the bucket with a rope. and that big old air hose, when you started blowing the sealing off, the entire gooseneck of the bucket lip would rock back and forth like a ship at sea. And I have been with other people in those things where they're just got their hands just white knuckle clamped to the safety rail of the bucket, and they're going, "I don't like this." And I'm going, "It's all right. Nobody's bothering us. Uh, as long as we get a reasonable amount done, we don't really have to accomplish the entire goal immediately." Um, oh Lord, the '70s were an interesting time to be working in a factory.
The 70s were just an interesting time.
Yeah, and not in the "may you live in interesting times" sort of curse. Um, yeah, we used to leave work on the last day of our second shift, 11 p.m. Drive to Atlanta, 90 miles away. Watch Rocky Horror Picture Show at this little bitty theater that looked like it probably should have been just showing porn instead of underground movies, and then drive back in the middle of the night for our 2-day break. And there'd be like 5 cars full of us. Almost half the crew, all the younger folks. The older folks had better sense. They went home, went to bed. We drove to Atlanta to watch a movie, and we did it month after month after month. I bet I could still drive to that movie theater today, even though they lost their, they had to return their copy of Rocky Horror. So they've not been making much money, if it's still in business, because that movie and Phantom of the Paradise and a couple of other midnight movies kept them in business for years.
I just got notification your show starts in 30 minutes, Dan.
You're right.
I got that notification Thursday. And it did mean tonight. I don't need the notification. I need to ping on my phone to make sure I'm still awake halfway through, or to remember once I've run the end credits and turned my camera off to actually hit the end stream button. Wake up, John.
What? I'm answering military questions. Give me a second. All right, there we go.
Oh,
I had to explain to let's see, he's a UN forces trooper. I'm not. It doesn't. Say, it says he's with the UN peacekeeping forces. He didn't say which military, but they're driving around in an M113A1, which the active military quit using A1s back in 82 to 84. So he was asking torque questions. We're like, who the hell carries a torque wrench in a combat vehicle getting bounced around all over the damn place? It was a 24-inch socket wrench.
Uh-huh.
And if
with
you're
with a
smart,
gauge on it.
no, it didn't have it. You didn't have a gauge on it. Just the regular,
Okay.
socket wrench with and you got a 2-foot piece of pipe to put it over the handle. Give you the cheater bar is what we call it.
Cheater bars,
To give you
yes.
extra leverage because they're changing track.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, and he wanted to know how hard the track pads had to be torqued as hard as you can. It's
You really hard enough not to be loose and not to be too stiff to where it flies off when you actually try to drive it.
it's a track pad. You're not going to break it. It's,
And if you break it, you're in the Marines because they can break a handle. And are quite proud of that achievement too.
Oh yeah.
And I have known I learned that joke from a Marine. Okay, don't give us any. It was a Marine that told me that. You know, he also joked that the best present you can give a Marine is a large box of Crayola crayons, but I didn't think that one was appropriate or even that funny.
he's from New Zealand.
Okay. Then he has to torque it backwards because it's below the equator. Take advantage of Corolla's forces.
That's odd. They made one big mistake.
Oh,
Yes, they disassembled both treads at the same time.
ooh,
Oops.
Yeah.
yeah. You don't have a pattern from the other one to follow.
Well, no. You do one side at a time.
Yeah.
You can use the other side to move the vehicle back and forth along the track when it's
So
laying
that
flat on the ground. And then you can use the tow cable and the hooks and the track jacks to pull it back up and then pull it back into position. They drop both of them at the same time. And for some reason or other, they've got it sitting on a stack of pallets. An 11-ton vehicle. Well, it's only about 9 tons now if they got all the track pulled off of it. But
Somebody is going to collect a lot of kindling. Because those pallets are not going to hold up to that kind of weight.
it appears to be doing such. Well, it's also sitting on its road wheels. So apparently they just put the pallets there to keep it from. Oh, I wonder if they're changing road wheels too. That's a possibility. Well, they don't. I don't see them changing road wheels. So.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
You know what they say, sharing is caring. If I got to look at this mess, you do too.
All right.
And yeah, if you zoom in real close, you can see it's the nose and the tail are sitting on a stack of pallets.
I'm seeing the treads laid out there. I hope that's the replacements and not the one they're taking off. But
I don't know that I don't see. Normally, you see a stack of new treads. So,
hey, you would be the expert. I don't know anything about this except what I've read or what I've seen in movies, which hardly makes me an expert. Nick, if you got something that can jack up a tank, hey, That's a neighborhood you want to stay out of.
Now you know why they're
Mhm.
now you know why they're sending in peacekeeping forces.
Really. The cops are going, hey, we need an expert here. Uh,
Yeah,
I would,
that's a New Zealand Army M113A1. But if you look, it's got the neat little turret on top.
yeah.
They got the neat armor.
Well,
Wonder if it's actually got a weapon on top.
I don't have the faintest idea. If it was French, it'd have a flag on top, but it'd still be white. Um,
Um, I've noticed a lot of the peacekeeping forces will not put the 50 caliber machine gun on top, or whatever machine gun their country's from, whatever. But they'll sit up there with a sniper rifle. Which,
that don't sound safe.
well, um, if you got the mount for it, it's actually kind of cool because you can put it in the machine gun mount.
Oh, okay. So there is a shield.
Yes, it's just instead of a machine gun, they put a sniper rifle, and the reason is uh, uh, if you have to shoot at someone in a crowd.
Mm. Richie's here.
Yes, most local governments frown upon you shooting into a crowd with a 50 caliber machine gun.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah,
Howdy.
most municipal governments would frown on you shooting into a crowd with a 50 caliber machine gun. They have to buy new mops. All right. On that note, I shall return momentarily. I have to go down the hall.
Oh,
Good evening, Richie.
Rich, I got a good one for you. Have you ever seen a print delaminate at the breakaway point during the print?
Delam down where it's gating, where you've got like supports. Is that what you're talking about, or
Delam from the raft.
yes?
So Joe Dog's
And
not the only one.
And then they get stuck to the bottom of my vat, and I actually have to pour all the resin out, peel it off, wash the vat out, and sit there and wait for the vat to dry. Which is why I bought a second vat. I'm like, all right, that one's in maintenance. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. Oh, no, that's not what I want. This is what I want.
That's very true, Nick.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
That's a collision waiting to happen.
Yep. But the other one's perfect.
Is your bed level?
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't know as much about your type of printer because, again, I use resin, so I do SLA. Yeah, I don't know what would.
Oh, and did you notice my hashtag always promote? Look under Baby Yoda. And look up on the monitor behind it.
The one on the monitor behind it, you need to lift about half an inch or so.
Yeah.
And the one under Baby Yoda, Baby Groot, needs to be scooted to the
Towards
right
me.
about an inch. and then they'll be perfectly visible.
But at least there's, like in HallowCon.com. What? And there's absolutely nobody watching it right now.
Well, it is a bit like watching paint dry.
Yep. Hence the song playing in the background.
I dropped $250 today.
What? Well, did you pick it up?
Well, what I picked up in the place of the $250 is a year's subscription with the what the hell did they call it? The STL Academy or whatever the crap they're calling it. So I decided to bite the bullet and actually pay for a year's worth of STL flicks to see what they got. They got a lot of stuff. If you're a D&D miniature type person, they have a ton of stuff for you. If you like the little articulated dragons and Godzillas and stuff like that, they got a ton of that stuff too. And with the level that I went ahead and paid for, I can actually sell all of these at conventions or whatever. So I can just print out a crap ton of anything from that library, and as long as I'm still subscribing, I can actually have the commercial license to sell them.
Wow. That's right.
Next year, I probably won't need the Academy portion of it because I'll probably have watched all the videos and stuff like that, and I'll be like, all right, I don't need that part now. Now I can go for the lower, which is only $6 a month lower, but I paid for the year, so just to say to hell with it, just to see what it's all about. So far, I like it. A lot of Halloween themed shit.
Oh yeah.
Monsters and potion bottles and stuff like that. So I'll probably be fixing up some of that stuff and having fun to see how well, because some of that stuff is only for filament, and then some of it's for filament and resin. And I'm like, well, I got this thing here that's supposed to be filament only. I got to work on my resin. Let's see what happens when I play with it. So.
Yeah, well, you're one of the reasons I have a damn 3D printer now. Thank you. Yeah, it's your fault.
You saw all the fun toys that I was playing with and making?
Yeah.
They've got a couple of cosplay guns, but nothing Nerf blastery.
Yeah, but Nick really likes Nerf.
Nerf or nothing.
Hey, y'all have that argument. I ain't getting involved.
Hey, if folks want to learn Blender or any other 3D modeling software and figure out those mods, and then send me the STLs or the OBJs for them, I'm willing to print them for you.
Joe Bachman and I had an idea.
Uh-oh.
Well, shit.
That it would be kind of nice to commission Richie to make a chain out of his chainmail to hang the two signs that Lindsay ordered from Joe from the command strip hooks on the wall there at HallowCon. rather than using twine or something else that wasn't eye-catching.
And having to hang it from the drop ceiling.
Oh no, not that high, not that high. No, I can't reach the drop ceiling. Not
That's what I
without
mean.
a step ladder.
What colors do you want, and which weave do you want for the chain?
I figured I would leave that up to you. Lindsay is quite fond of amethysts and silver. Um, but it would have to be somewhere. I don't know what the best length would be, a foot or a foot and a half. But it would just be not, a sheet of mail, just a chain,
Oh yeah,
basically. But you could do any weave you wanted, and that way we could say, "Hey, you like the chain we've got the stuff hanging from? Friend of ours makes that. He's available to be hired for commissions,
Yeah,
just
he's
like the
right
guy
over
that made
there.
the sign."
And at HallowCon, you can go, he's right over there.
I
Yeah,
fervently wish, yes,
he will
that
be
would
this
be
year.
that
I will
will
be
be
there. I've
incredible.
already dropped money on it. I'm too cheap not to go.
Have you reserved your room yet?
I reserved it. Yeah,
Okay.
I put my
Thesis,
reservation in like 12 hours after I got the tickets for the
are you
badges.
thesis? Yes, indeed. Joe has given his permission and blessing, and if the guy doesn't take too long, the story will be in the June Aphelion. If he takes a little bit longer to write it, then it will be July. I have already given it a provisional space in the table of contents.
Oh, so he did contact Joe.
He did indeed.
Oh,
And Joe
great.
says, "Hey, fucking great idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just don't break the playground equipment." Um,
yeah. I know. Joe was said in the green room that would be okay with him, but I didn't know if he'd actually got in contact with him.
yep, that has happened.
Yeah,
Um,
we told Joe to go watch Thursday night's Last Man Standing, as it was a running commercial for the Indie CD.
yeah, we do that. Uh, oh, come
I
on.
don't have a sock, but I could, since I'm Dawn tonight.
Can I have another 2 days? I'm just beginning to get into myself. Uh,
I'll get into you.
Evidently, you haven't seen that movie. Or if you have, the reference just kind of went, "Ging." But,
Well, I have my own references.
yes, I know. And yours are usually better than mine.
Well, I am older.
I'm too smart for that shit. No.
I don't.
Why do I get the feeling that Rich is looking for a sock?
No, actually, I was looking at the stuff that I bought from Joe at ndcd.com to try to figure out how I would need to end everything so that it joins to the signs. So I'm going to have him.
I don't know if Lindsay wants me to put eye hooks or cup hooks on the signs. If it's cup hooks, just a regular ending. If it's eye hooks, it'll need some kind of a clasp on both ends. And the question in my mind is a foot, foot and a half. I don't know. Um, Actually, I would say
So you're looking for just something that I actually have a block of wood right here. So like basically something that would just loop like this that you would just hang it off of.
Yeah, one command hook to hang it from, one command hook to rule them.
I was thinking that too.
Now, and I think with a 1 foot chain, it would have like a 2 inch descent from the hook. But with 18 inches, it might be a little bit too low for her preferences. I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm trying to second guess my wife who is asleep, which is really difficult to do. But
That's probably the safest time to second guess her too. If she's anything like Misty.
Now, Dan, are you going to have to put something in for that, or are you going to be able to use it? Did he put the alligator thing on the back like he has on mine?
I asked him not to put anything on it because I did not know what kind of hooks that Lindsay wanted on it. So I'm gonna have to take my Dremel and put a couple of holes in the wood frame on the top, not the back where it would be hidden, but on the top, so the chain would be visible.
How long is the sign, and how long between the eye hooks?
Oh God, I haven't measured it.
He'll have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you would be willing to do it, and if you would have time between now and October.
Well, here's a hint. I'm already sitting here trying to figure out length and stuff like that. So the answer is yes. I'll be honored to do that.
Honored.
Yeah, 4 minutes, guys. 3 minutes.
Yep. Yeah. It's time to play high flight and
no, it's time to say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Come see us for the last man standing.
Goodbye.
When you leave this mess, go over to Dan's show and do the last man standing thing.
Yep. All right. Let's hit it.
Good night, everybody.
Go.
Bye.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.